Think about the last time you were in an argument. Maybe it was with a friend over a movie, a family member about politics, or even a stranger on the internet. You felt that burning sensation in your chest because you knew they were wrong, but for some reason you couldn't pin down exactly why. Their words felt like a trap, and no matter what you said, they seemed to slip away or turn your own words against you. This happens because most of us were never taught the rules of the game. We were taught what to think, but not how to think. In philosophy, we call the rules of this game logic. Logic is often seen as something cold, robotic, or reserved for mathematicians, but that is a massive misunderstanding. Logic is actually the ultimate form of intellectual self-defense. It is the grammar of thought. Just as you cannot write a beautiful poem without understanding the rules of language, you cannot reach the truth or defend your own ideas without understanding the structure of an argument. To understand how to win an argument, or more importantly, how to find the truth, we have to start with the anatomy of a thought. Every argument is built like a house. It has a foundation, walls, and a roof. In logic, we call these premises and conclusions. A premise is a statement that provides support or evidence. A conclusion is the statement that the evidence is meant to support. The most famous example in history is a simple three-line structure called a syllogism. All humans are mortal, Socrates is human, therefore Socrates is mortal. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but within this structure lies a crucial distinction that most people miss in the heat of a debate, the difference between validity and truth. An argument is valid if the conclusion follows logically from the premises. If the bridge between the facts is solid, the argument is valid. However, an argument can be perfectly valid but still be completely false. If I say, all birds can fly, penguins are birds, therefore penguins can fly, my logic is valid, but my premise is wrong. When you are arguing with someone, the first thing you must do is stop and ask, is the problem with their facts, or is the problem with the way they are connecting those facts? Once you understand how a healthy argument is built, you can begin to spot the sick ones. These are what we call logical fallacies. A fallacy is a glitch in the human operating system. It is an argument that sounds persuasive on the surface, but is hollow and broken underneath. People use them all the time, sometimes because they are trying to manipulate you, but more often because they don't even realize they are doing it. The most common of these is the ad hominem, which is Latin for to the person. This happens when someone stops talking about the idea and starts talking about you. If you say that a specific economic policy is good for the country, and they respond by saying, well, you failed your math test in high school, so what do you know about economics? They have committed an ad hominem. Your math grade has nothing to do with the validity of the economic policy. By attacking you, they are essentially admitting they cannot defeat your idea. Whenever you see a personal attack, recognize it for what it is. A white flag of surrender disguised as an insult. Another powerful fallacy is the strawman. This is the weapon of choice for internet trolls and dishonest politicians. It involves taking your opponent's argument, distorting it into a ridiculous, extreme version, and then attacking that fake version instead of the real one. If you say, I think we should spend a bit less on the military and a bit more on education, and your opponent says, so you want to leave our borders completely open and invite every enemy to attack us tomorrow, they have built a straw man. They aren't arguing with you, they are arguing with a cartoon version of you. The best way to handle this is to stop the conversation immediately and say, that is not what I said, you are misrepresenting my position. Let's get back to the actual point. Then there is the slippery slope. This fallacy works on fear. It claims that if we take one small step in a certain direction, it will inevitably lead to a catastrophic chain reaction. If we allow students to use calculators for this exam, soon they won't know how to add, then they'll forget how to read, and eventually civilization will collapse into a new dark age. While it is true that actions have consequences, the slippery slope fails because it provides no evidence that the extreme end result is actually guaranteed. It relies on your anxiety rather than your intellect. We also see the false dilemma everywhere in our polarized world. This is the with us or against us trap. It presents you with only two choices when in reality there might be dozens of middle grounds or alternative paths. It forces you into a corner, making you feel like you must choose a side. Philosophy teaches us that the truth is rarely found at the extremes. It usually lives in the messy, complicated middle. By identifying a false dilemma, you regain your freedom to choose a third option. As you become more aware of these fallacies, you'll notice that they often work because of our own internal weaknesses, known as cognitive biases. We have a natural tendency to seek out information that confirms what we already believe. This is called confirmation biases. Logic is the tool that helps us fight this. It forces us to look at the evidence objectively, even if that evidence proves us wrong. This leads to the most powerful technique in the history of civil discourse, the steel man. Most people try to straw man their opponents by making them look stupid. But a true philosopher does the opposite. You should try to steel man your opponent's argument. This means you describe their position so well and so strongly that they would say, yes, that is exactly what I believe, and you said it better than I could. Only after you have built their argument into a fortress should you try to find the cracks in it. If you can defeat the strongest version of an idea, you have truly learned something. If you only defeat a weak, distorted version, you've gained nothing but a bruised ego for your opponent. In a world filled with noise, propaganda, and endless shouting matches, logic is your lighthouse. It allows you to stay calm when others are angry. It allows you to be clear when others are confused. Most importantly, it allows you to change your mind with grace. There is no shame in losing an argument if the logic shows you a better path. In fact, that is the only way we'd grow. If you win every argument but never change your mind, you haven't actually learned anything. You've just stayed in the same place. Logic isn't about winning in the sense of destroying an enemy. It's about winning in the sense of coming closer to the truth. Next time you find yourself in a heated debate, take a breath. Look for the premises. Look for the conclusion. Watch out for the personal attacks and the straw men. If you can do that, you aren't just arguing, you are doing philosophy. You are taking the first step toward a mind that is truly free. If you're starting to realize that the world isn't exactly what it seems, you're already doing philosophy. To keep exploring these glitches in reality with us, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell. Most people live their whole lives without asking these questions. Don't be one of them. Join the community, and let's keep questioning everything together.